Inflation slowed down further to 1.7% in August. Let's now get the details straight from the PSA in Quezon City. Let's take a listen.
6%. Moreover, the following commodity groups posted slower annual rates during the month. These are housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, 1.8%, health, 3.1%, recreation and culture, 1.8%. Also, restaurant and miscellaneous goods and services posted a lower rate at 3.2%. The transport index, which dropped at 0.2%, also contributed to the downtrend of inflation this month. On the other hand, higher annual increases were noted in the indices of alcoholic beverages and tobacco at 10.1%, clothing and footwear at 2.8%, and education at 4.6%. Meanwhile, the indices of furnishing, household equipment, and routine maintenance of the house and communication retained their annual rates in July 2019 at 2.9% and 0.3% respectively. A downtrend of inflation in August 2019 was seen in recreation and culture, primarily games of chance, which recorded an annual rate of 0.1% in August 2019 from 16.6% in July 2019. The slowdown of the August 2019 inflation was also brought about by food and non-alcoholic beverages, particularly the food groups that contributed to the slower inflation in August 2019. And these are the items: rice, negative 5.2% from negative 2.9%. Corn, negative 3.7% from negative 3.0%. Meat, 2.5% from 3.5%. Fish, 2.8% from 3.8%. Vegetables, negative 1.4% from 3.4%. And sugar, jam, honey, chocolate, and confectionery at negative 2.9% from negative 1.4%. Transport also contributed to the downtrend of the August 2019 inflation. The items that primarily contributed to the slower inflation in August 2019 were the following: petroleum and fuels for personal transport equipment, negative 5.2% from negative 2.8%. Jeepney fare, 1.5% from 2.1%. Bus fare, 4.3% from 4.4%. Taxi fare, 0% from 27%. And tricycle fare, 2.3% from 2.6%. Similarly, inflation in the National Capital Region continued to move at a slower pace during the month of August at 1.4%. Its annual rate was higher at 2.3% in July 2019 and 7.0% in August 2018. Following the same trend as in the national level and in the National Capital Region, inflation in areas outside the National Capital Region eased further to 1.8% in August 2019. Inflation in July 2019 was recorded at 2.4% and in August 2018 at 6.2%. The highest annual rate among the regions in areas outside the National Capital Region remained in Mimaropa region at 4.6% in August 2019. This was lower than its annual rate in July 2019 at 4.9%. The lowest inflation among the regions in areas outside the National Capital Region was recorded in Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula, at 0.5%. In July 2019, its annual increment was higher at 1.4%. Among the 11 major commodity groups, the top contributors to the overall inflation of Bimaropa region were the following: housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, 7.6% inflation and a 30.5% share. Food and non-alcoholic beverages, 1.5% inflation and 15.2% share. Restaurants and miscellaneous goods and services at 7.5% inflation and 14.4% share. Alcoholic beverages and tobacco at 28.2% inflation and 12.3% share. And finally, transport with 6.0% inflation and a 10.9% share. Relative to their annual rates in July 2019, lower annual increments were noted in all the regions in areas outside the National Capital Region in August 2019. The monthly increment of the seasonally adjusted consumer price index for all items at the national level slowed down to 0.1% in August 2019 from 0.2% in July 2019. The index for food and non-alcoholic beverages dropped by 0.1% from zero growth in July 2019. Moreover, monthly increases in the indices of health decelerated to 0.2% from 0.4%. And education to 0.8% from 2.0%. In addition, the index of recreation and culture registered a zero growth in August 2019 from 0.1% in July 2019. The alcoholic beverages and tobacco index picked up by 1.9% monthly growth in August 2019 from 0.7% in July 2019. The same July 2019 monthly rates were noted in the following commodity groups: clothing and footwear at 0.4%, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, negative 0.1%. Furnishing, household equipment, and routine maintenance of the house, and restaurant and miscellaneous goods and services, both at 0.3%. This ends my presentation on the inflation in the Philippines for August 2019. The Philippine Statistics Authority appreciates your presence in the August 2019 inflation press briefing. We look forward to meeting you again on October 4, 2019, when we report the inflation rate for September 2019. Thank you very much.
We now continue on to the employment statistics.
Okay, we proceed to the preliminary results of the July 2019 Labor Force Survey. Employment rate in July 2019 was placed at 94.6%, the same rate as in the same period a year ago. So these rates translate to 42.95 million workers in July 2019 and 40.65 million in July 2018. The growth rate in terms of employment, the employed person posted a year-on-year growth of 5.7% in July 2019, or about 2.3 million additional workers. Unemployment rate was placed at 5.4% in July 2019, the same rate as in July 2018. However, the number of unemployed persons increased by 4.4%, placing the count to 2.43 million in July 2019 from 2.33 million in July 2018. This is due to the increase in the labor force this year. In July 2019, population 15 years old and above stood at 73.13 million persons, while in the same period a year ago, this population was only recorded at 71.56 million. Of this population, 45.38 million were in the labor force in July 2019, compared to 42.98 million a year ago. In effect, the labor participation rate for July 2019 was recorded at 62.1% compared to 60.1% in July 2018. Northern Mindanao, or Region 10, had the highest labor force participation rate at 72.5%, and the ARMM had the lowest labor force participation rate with 53.3%. Among the regions, Region 4A, Calabar Zone, had the lowest employment rate, recorded at 92.8%, and Region 11, Davao Region, had the highest employment rate at 96.7% in July 2019. On the other hand, Region 4A, Calabar Zone, had the highest unemployment rate, recorded at 77.2%, while Region 11, Davao, had the lowest unemployment rate at 3.3%. In terms of employed person, in the three major industry sectors, all sectors posted increases in July 2019. Services sector hold the largest share of workers with 57.8%, followed by the agriculture sector with 23.5% of the workers and 18.7% in the industry sector. The services sector includes the group of workers in wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles, which comprise the largest group of workers, registered an increase of 10.5%. In agriculture, expansion in employment was recorded at 6.3% in the agriculture and fisheries. In the industry sector, workers in the construction and manufacturing had combined share of 95.8% of the workers, and this posted a growth rate of 2.2%. Wage and salary workers were estimated at 27.24% in July 2019 from 26.56% a year ago, and this recorded an increase of 2.6%. Those who were self-employed without any paid employee was placed at 11.75 million in July 2019, an increase of 10.3% from the estimate in July 2018. Employer in family-operated farm or business declined by 21.3%, but the magnitude is relatively small. It has not made a dent in the overall employment level. Unpaid family workers was about 2.7 million in July 2019 from 1.9 million a year ago, or a year-on-year growth of 45.3%. The number of workers in each of the major occupation posted uptrends in July 2019 from a year ago, except in craft and related trades and in the armed forces occupation. Workers in elementary occupations remain the largest group at 27.6% of the total employed persons in July 2019. The number was recorded at 26.7% in July 2018. Employed person by gender, so we have here more employed persons are more of males than females, each with a share of 61% and 39% respectively. Underemployment rate declined to 13.9% in July 2019 from 17.2% in July 2018. Visible underemployment rate inched up to 8.6% from 8.1% a year ago, while invisible underemployment rate dipped to 5.2% in July 2019 from 9.1% a year ago. For the full-time jobs, the next slide, please. There was a decline in the percent share of full-time workers from 71.3% in July 2018 to 67.4% this year. Similarly, the mean hours worked per week decreased to 41.6 hours this period, July 2019, from 43 hours a year ago. Moving on to the youth employment statistics and those not in employment, education, and training, or NEET, we have some figures here. The youth employment rate was relative.
And there you have it, the Philippine Statistics Authority dishing out inflation figures for us for the month of August, easing further to 1.7%. That's compared to the 6.4% registered in August of 2018. Also taking a look at the figures here, you'd see here that easing really brought about by that decline in the food and non-alcoholic beverage segment here, which was down to 0.6% versus the 1.9% registered in July. That's despite also seeing some increases here in alcoholics and alcoholic beverages and tobacco, as well as clothing and footwear and education. That now brings year-to-date inflation to 3%.
Interesting, especially since the analysts had predicted 1.8%, but this 1.7% is still within the BSP's range, 1.3 to 2.1%.